foundry's down here, and there's the new library building.
This is your house?
Hi, George! Hello! Hello, George!
George, hello!
Come on!
At last.
Hello, Mother.
Welcome home.
Doesn't he look grand?
I thought we'd never get here. It's been the longest 2 years of my life.
Good to have you here, George.
Thank you, sir. I want you to meet my parents. This is Maud and William Hazard.
How do you do?
Pleasure to know you, Orry. Welcome to Belvedere.
Thank you.
George has written us so much about you.
It's kind of you to have me here.
And these are my brothers, Stanley. Welcome.
Stanley?
And this is Billy.
Billy?
Are those real sabers?
Sure. Here, take a look.
Don't touch that, Billy. It's dangerous. My brother obviously forgot to introduce me, Mr. Main.
Of course not.
I'm Virgilia Hazard.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Hazard. I've heard so much about you.
George tells us you're a Southerner.
Yes, from South Carolina.
Do you keep slaves?
My family does, yes.
Are you evil, Mr. Main?
Oh, no, Virginia.
Not again.
Virgilia.
Great men like Mr. Garrison keep trying to show Southerners the evil they're doing. And it's our duty to take...
Virgilia, I thought I asked you to stop reading that abolitionist nonsense.
It's not nonsense, Father. It's God's truth.
I'm afraid her cause is Virgilia's way of making up for not being born a man.
Don't you patronize me, Stanley Hazard.
That will be enough, Virgilia. Now, I think we should all go indoors.
Yes, by all means. I hear congratulations are in order for you. Mother wrote and said you were engaged, but she didn't tell me who the lucky girl was.
My fiancée is Miss Isabel Truscott, from one of the best families in Pennsylvania.
I've no doubt.
George wrote that you might be interested in seeing the foundry.
Yes, sir. I want to know all there is to know about Hazard Iron.
Busiest operation of its kind in the country.
Our boilerplates wind up in everything from ships to fire engines. Anything that uses a steam generator.
Like a cotton mill?
Like 10 or 12 of them.
And I take it you found that impressive?
More than that, sir, your foundry is a revelation. Now, I'm sure it's a good idea to build a cotton mill in South Carolina. Just hope I can make my father see that.
Surely he must be aware that the economy of the South would be much stronger if more cotton were processed there.
Yes, sir, but he has a very strong bias against any form of industry.
Well, now, that's a shame.
Father, I think this requires your attention.
Would you excuse me for just a moment, please?
Yes, sir. Who lives there?
Our workers. Immigrants mostly. Irish, German, Welsh. A lot more than when I left. I know, they're not much better than your slave quarters, are they?
They're worse.
Well, at least our workers have a choice. We don't own them. We don't force them to work here. They can leave whenever they want.
Well, an empty belly is a pretty good reason to stay.
Are you saying that you don't like the way that we run the foundry?
Well, I don't have to like everything about what you do any more than you have to like everything we do.
Well, I guess you're right. I guess there's probably room for improvement on both sides.
I know there is. That's why I wanted to visit and learn from you Yankees.
You're really serious about this cotton mill, aren't you?
After the Army, I'm dead serious if I can talk my father into it.
And if Hazard Iron supplies the parts, you won't get a better deal.
plan on using that argument on my father.
They sure don't treat us like this at West Point.
I'm glad you're the one who's there.
Soup, Mr. Stanley.
Right again, Billy.
Sorry, sir.
Now, don't forget to put your napkin on your lap, Billy.
I do think so.
Salt and pepper, Mr. Main.
Thank you, Miss Truscott.
You're welcome, Mr. Main. I'm sorry you have to leave so soon.
Yes, well, there's a friend I have to see in Charleston before I head home.
A friend, Mr. Main? I think it must be a lady.
And how do your instructors feel about your president?
Well, sir, they like him, even when they don't agree with
But
him.
I have enjoyed my stay here very much.
Well, you read something of Mr. Polk's views?
Well, I think that Polk will annex Texas if he's elected president. After all, he's a committed expansionist.
But it's wrong. Texas belongs to Mexico.
And if he does, there'll be war. I just hope that Orry and I don't graduate too late to fight it.
They say we'll see action with General Zachary Taylor. Wouldn't that be something?
Mr. Polk believes in manifest destiny, all right. And if this country's to stretch from the Atlantic to the Pacific, there'll be plenty of action. We know that.
Unless God strikes him dead first, which he deserves. Well, can't any of you see? Expansionism is just another name for perpetuating the foul institution of slavery.
Julia, be quiet.
No, Mother, not this time. I can't just sit by and listen to my own brother and a slave owner tell us how eager they are to fight, when everyone knows that this is the devil's war. George, to annex Texas as a slave state...
I see you're still reading your abolitionists, Virgilia.
I'm doing more than reading, George. I've joined their cause, and my allowance goes to support it.
Julia.
I have a right, Father. I'm a grown woman, and I must decide for myself now. And I will fight the ungodly evil that lives in the South.
Miss Hazard, perhaps if you knew more about our Southern way of life, you wouldn't be so quick to condemn.
Mr. Main, I know all I need to know. And I will not sit down at a table with a man who chooses to keep his fellow human beings in bondage.
Orry, I'm afraid I have to apologize for my sister. She, sometimes lets her emotions run away with her.
Why don't you tell us some more about your plans for the cotton mill, Orry?
Yes, sir.